Bells Hells are back, baby, and boy have I missed them. Hi everyone, my name is Luna, and in this week's episode, Fern goes on a little trip, Chetney unleashes the beast, and Sam scars all of us once again.
I have very human teeth because I'm a human man.
The first thing we are hit with is a response from Dorian. If you cast your mind back, Orem had sent Dorian a message via the sending stone, so this was his reply.
Oh, Orem. My heart aches that I cannot be there to help you. Find strength. Stay steadfast. Sending you fairer winds. Is this thing on?
I loved this, and I really hope that they do it again this way soon. We pick up with the characters the day after they arrived in Baranak, the village full of were-creatures known as the Gorgonai. Or Gorgony. I think it's Gorgony. The party discuss what Chetney, and potentially all of them, could be facing as part of this trial, and they discuss what kind of were-creatures each of them would be.
I mean, clearly I would have to go with some sort of heavy reptile, because it's the only thing that would make sense with the complexion. So, you know, like an alligator or something like that.
What about you,
I
Warren?
guess I'd go with a rabbit.
Solid. A were-rabbit?
Were-rabbit.
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 Are you allowed to do, we're allowed to be things that are not actually predators?
I don't know how it works.
I mean, I would say a werehorse.
Oh, nay.
Isn't that just a centaur?
I think it would be, or like, I'm trying to imagine what it would actually look like.
Just a horse head on
Maybe like you wouldn't actually be able to walk upright, so you'd just be like.
You're just Bojack.
Yeah.
A horse head with the most beautiful purple mane.
You're just a My Little Pony at that point.
I mean, like that, even that's gone wrong, even for My Little
know.
Pony.
I mean, I'd probably be like a werequoka, or like, you know, a werebearer.
What's that? A bearer?
Capybara.
Capybara.
Oh, cute.
Bear there.
Yeah,
That's real cute.
werebearer.
FCG, get us right back on the meat eating path.
I came prepared.
A werebass.
A werebass.
Oh, the werebass. Yes.
I want to feel the water against.
Why does it look like it has red hair?
Because that's the fur of the werebass.
Okay, let me know in the comments what kind of were-creature you would be. I think I would like to be, I'm not saying this is what I am as a person, but I think I would like to be a were-kangaroo because they have two modes. Really chill dudes, or fucking you up. Bells Hells gather their things and get ready for this trip to the temple along with some of the members of the village. Menard, who is a were-panther, Uvalo, who is a werewolf, Annaline, the were-tiger, and Uther, the were-boar, and Frecio, another werewolf. They start trekking through the jungle, which Matt describes as being alien and beautiful, and Fern munches on some fungi because, you know, that's the first rule of trekking through an unknown wilderness is absolutely eat any mysterious mushrooms that you find. I'm totally kidding. Please don't do that. It's really dangerous. Absolutely do not do that.
Chest cavity.
It's not painful. It's not odd. And as you're explaining this to Chetney, you watch his eyebrows kind of extend and wiggle a bit, and his features almost seem to like stretch in odd ways.
Oh.
Hey, what's the taste profile like?
Oh, I think.
Menard notices that Fern is high and says that he's gonna walk behind to kind of, you know, take care of her, help shepherd her along.
Okay, I'm gonna just stay about 5-10 feet behind you, and you just keep moving. I'll just keep an
Why
eye.
so far? I'm not gonna do anything.
So Fern is poisoned for the next 24 hours, which means to make all ability checks and saving throws with disadvantage. The poison condition is no joke, and they don't have anyone in the party who can cure it except for maybe herself. Does Fern have lesser restoration? Interesting. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments. I can't remember. Sometime later through this journey, Annaline tells them that they are being hunted by Twilight tigers. These are huge 20-foot long creatures, and the Gorgony all transform into their lycanthropic forms, which spooks them off. I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to see maybe some more action with them. Mainly, I just wanted to see a mini of this huge creature. After a full day of traveling, they set up a camp and have some very important discussions.
Who do you think is the hottest one out of all of us?
That's really weird.
I don't know if it's a truth serum. Maybe it's a truth serum. Sure.
Well, I mean, you all have your own special parts that are great.
FCG is curious if they will be affected by these psychedelic mushrooms, since they're not the same kind of humanoid creature as the rest in the party. So, throwing caution to the wind, FCG eats some, but because Sam made the saving throw, is not affected by them at all, only slightly. FCG, believing Fern to be in a sort of enlightened, heightened state of being, asks her if she can reach out to the Changebringer and see if she can get any vibes, essentially, and to ask if FCG is on the right path.
For a moment, you almost swear you hear a voice go, "Hi."
They just said hi.
Ask a question, maybe. Am I on the right path?
Okay.
Or do they know who I am? Or...
Okay. Hi, this is kind of a two-part question, but do you know who FCG is, and is he on the right path? Are they on the right path?
Either way.
Bless this scene for giving us Matthew Mercer pretending to be a beetle. In the evening, Annalene draws Chetney away from the group for a private chat.
Show me what you can do.
Chetney transforms and activates his Crimson Right. But Annalene is not very impressed. She's like, oh, is that all? But she's also mostly not impressed by his desire to essentially speed run learning his abilities. She's sort of saying that it takes a long time to master those powers, and he's just like, oh, I want to do this one thing and get it right away. So she's not very impressed by that. She asks Chetney, why does he want to tap into these powers? Why does he want to expand them? And Chetney admits that, yes, he likes to be powerful, he likes to be dangerous, he likes to be considered a threat, that it was a very different experience to his previous life. But he also does grudgingly admit that he would like to use it to do some good. They discuss the difficulties around being a lycanthrope, the fact that they are always hunted by others because of their curse or their condition, and also that the curse lays claim to just as many folks who come to Baranak seeking guidance as those who are able to come through the other side in control of their powers, that it's this constant battle of not giving in to the beast. Annalene shares a story about her mentor, Amitho, who spearheaded the creation of the Gorgony. One day, Amitho woke up and decided that they didn't want to fight anymore, and they let the beast take over.
I don't know how many years I have left anyway. I can't imagine a world in which I didn't take this exciting chance and see it for all that it's worth. That doesn't mean I want to give myself over to it. That shit's fun, don't get me wrong. Whew. But I think I'm okay with that shady-ass roommate you talked about.
Annalene requests to see Chetney's glyph work, which is essentially taking those blood hunter abilities and sort of elevating them, and Chetney is like, what? She reaches out and carves a mark into his chest and then sort of twists her hands.
You look down and the claw marks seem to form a fractal pattern. And as it kind of spreads out and then spreads out further and then spreads out further, it clicks in and glows this bright red coloration. And you feel this kind of like cold anchor that's drawn in her direction.
That's beautiful. Beautiful attention to detail.
Over the next few hours, she begins to train him, and she shares a little bit of her backstory, that she was once a student of Dial Hall, which is run by Arjit Dial, who is the person who gave Chetney her name, essentially, or her alias, Diva Sheila. She was turned while traveling to visit an uncle, and a lichen had been unleashed, which bit her. This lichen was called Doreo and was a elf with light pale hair, amber eyes, and a scar under his mouth. Aw, twinsies! I have a feeling we might see this character pop up. It just seemed like such a specific description, and I can imagine Matt in 6 months' time describing a character walking into a bar or something, and then all of them being like, oh wait, is it that person? They take a long rest and continue on their journey, with Fern recovering from her trip, and Menard talks a little bit about the history of the temple, saying that during the Apex War, the Stratos Throne used this as a sort of outpost. The Stratos Throne is the political entity that controls the Talent Highlands, and it's worth remembering, is also the entity that Odahan Thul belonged to during the Apex War. So we're still getting a little connection to her in this little side quest. They arrive at the temple, which is sort of overgrown and broken down, and Annalene asks them,
I ask all of you to be respectful. If there's anything you wish to take, make sure you ask permission.
They enter through a narrow entryway, about 50 or 60 feet long, and notice lots and lots of bones. And not just animal bones, there are humanoid bones as well. Humanoid skulls with piercings in them, like the piercings from claws or teeth. That's not ominous at all. They come to a central chamber, which in the middle of it has a statue of Seratani, which is the Marquesian name for the Wild Mother, and there are several other statues around sort of the perimeter as well, and this place is also very overgrown and very tumbled down. There is a hole in the middle of the roof where some light is coming through, and this is the trial chamber. All of the members of the village of Baranak leave some offerings.
So I'll go over and I'll also take out 2 platinum, got to be shown up. And I'll also pull out what looks like a small fang, but it's carved out of wood, intricately detailed. It's a wolf's tooth. The gum line represented perfectly. Slight cavity marks, because why would you brush your teeth? Place them. At the base of the statue.
Chetney has to sit here through the night and meditate, attempting to reach out to the spirit of Sahayadon, and the others sort of start setting up a camp and getting ready to wait.
Sayadon? Chetney Pocklepee here. C-Pop Industries. I know it's taken me 4 centuries to get to this point, but I'm here to make a difference. I look at your influence as a blessing, and I want to be straight with you. I'm going to use this for personal gain, but only a little bit. I've seen a lot of shitty things in the world, and some of that stuff needs a force to push it back. I'd like to do that at times, and also I have personal beef I'd like to squash. On the side, after I've done some good.
Several hours pass, and as night falls, a beam of moonlight comes through that hole in the roof. However, it's a little odd because Katha, the silver moon, is not in the right position in the sky for this light to be streaming into the temple. And then Chetney feels the arrival of a presence.
That's when we go to break.
Welcome back to the International Worldwide Global Only Crits Dice Tower Tournament. Next up is Luna, representing Australia. Yeah, she really has her work cut out for her this year. It's been a tough competition so far, and she's gonna have to pull out all the stops. It looks like she has brought a variety of dice with her to use in her tower. There is the full set of oversized dice, the sharp edge dice, which, it's clear, are her favorites. And are those dinosaur dice? And she's away, starting with the oversized set at the bottom, which is a smart move for stability. That's right, it's clear she has spent a lot of time with these dice, rolling them at every session. They have been her trusted companions for many games, giving her those high rolls she needs. Luna has now reached the International Worldwide Global Only Crits Dice Tower Tournament record. She needs to place 1 more die, and then the gold will be hers. And she's done it! What an outstanding achievement, and she'll be bringing home gold for Australia. Just absolutely incredible, and for folks watching along at home, you can bring home your own set of gold-winning dice by clicking the link in the description. Plus, you'll get 12% off your order when you use the code LUNA at checkout, and every purchase comes with a free D&D adventure. Back to you in the studio. Chetney feels emotions and sees images and knows that the spirit of Sahayadon is present.
Are you hunter or prey?
Hunter.
You are hunter and prey. Are you yearning for freedom or indulgence?
Freedom.
You are a fool. Do you seed the garden or spoil the earth?
Spoil the earth.
You are a catalyst. I smell it within you.
The spirit asks Chetney if he accepts the trial, and he emphatically says yes, he is amped. And all of the Gorgonai suddenly stop and stand up, stand to attention around the sides of the chamber, and they have this blue, misty light clouding their eyes. Chetney feels the urge, the itch, the scratch, the desire to give in to the beast, and just completely lets loose. As he transforms, he becomes an even larger werewolf with like a wingspan of 8 feet wingspan and arm span. You know what I mean. And big swollen shoulders and muscles.
Why is this the most beautiful thing I've ever seen?
He's so big.
This is actually another new release from the line of Critical Role minis that you can pick up. It was announced very shortly after the episode. Man, these minis, I'm normally very good at resisting like all of the merch ads, but the minis, I'm just like, ooh, I want it. And the entire party all roll initiative. Orym holds his action, Imogen flies up to the ceiling and attempts to peek into Chetney's mind, but there is something blocking. Ashton goes into a rage, and then it is Chetney's turn. He is told by Sahayadon to tear, to sunder, to devour. So that's what he does. He attacks FCG with his Crimson Right.
Help, it's again.
And obliterates Mister with a natural 20. Travis actually rolled 9 natural 20s this episode, which seems wild. Laudna transforms into her tree form of dread, and Chetney gets some legendary actions. Okay, that's what that piece of paper is for, From what I can tell, it looks like he had the following legendary actions. He had a dash action and extra attack, as well as this Howl of the Hunter ability, which causes everybody to make wisdom saving throws or they are frightened. Let me know if I missed any or I stuffed up though. FCG tries to reach out to Chetney using his trusted companion feature, but unfortunately it doesn't work. Orym pulls out a crudely carved wolf statue that he had been making for Chetney and tries to use that to reason with him.
In the middle of the chest, kind of around the sternum between the fur, a little bit of like red smoke kind of begins to trickle out.
The party continue to trade blows with Chetney, partially trying to convince him to stop and partially attacking him.
I am going to change into a wolf.
Okay.
Changing into a wolf.
Changing into a wolf.
Get weird. Sexy.
Yes, and I'm gonna try to change into like a sexy wolf.
Fern tries to convince him to remember what he is. And this does actually work somewhat. He loses one of his legendary actions. And throughout the fight, Chetney also loses another ability, which is a sort of healing, regenerative ability. It seems like this happened because the party met a certain damage threshold. And then Laudna casts darkness over the hole where the moonlight is coming in.
Your form shrinks down to your normal werewolf form.
This moonlight was clearly buffing Chetney's abilities, but even though it's now blocked and he's back to his sort of normal werewolf form, he does still get legendary actions. FCG, who has cast his spiritual weapon in the form of a silver stake, confusing vampires and werewolves somewhat, and he holds that stake to the statue's throat.
I will cast Calm Emotions on Chetney while I say to him, Chetney! You must recognize the alpha.
Oh.
An alpha is not one who draws the most blood. It's one who can control himself, fight through it, and save this bitch.
No, that was such a good speech for FCG. I was so sad that it didn't work. Imogen also tries to cast Calm Emotions, which also doesn't work. The only thing that works is Ashton just yelling at him to get it together, basically.
Please describe to me how you regain yourself.
Oh!
How do you want to subdue this?
Yeah, I'm looking at Laudna just getting ready to tear her to ribbons. And then I hear Ashton. Let's do this. Wait, what? Oh no.
Ashton comes over and smacks him in the face, and all of the Gorgonite come back to themselves, the trial seemingly over. The spirit dispelling Laudna's darkness, allowing moonlight to once again fill the chamber, essentially draws that red power from Chetney.
I eat of the scar of an unworthy predator and leave my scar in its place. You are a hunter, and the wilds wait with you to be unleashed.
And you watch, almost like drawing the venom from a wound, this red energy just kind of drifts out. And you watch as this kind of cloud of red drifts there for a second, and for a moment it almost resembles a familiar ruddy moon before it dissipates.
Okay, so questions. got some questions. Does this mean he no longer has that link to Ruidus that caused him to uncontrollably transform when they were on the skyship? Is that now gone? It's now driven away because of Sahayadon? I'm gonna be honest, this trial was not really what I expected because of all of the talk that the Gorgonite had and Annalene and those conversations. It really felt like it was going to be a test of whether or not he could control himself, and this is not what that test felt like. This felt like it was the Bell's Hells who basically beat him into submission so that he controlled himself, which is not the same thing as having internal control. Honestly, a little confused about what the purpose of it was, other than to have Chetney fight a cool fight with legendary actions, which is 100% a valid reason because it was dope and cool and awesome, and like, those are the kinds of fun things I want to put in my game. Let me know what you think. I don't know if that made any sense, but I think, yeah, I was just expecting him to actually not use his werewolf abilities as much because he's trying to control them. And like and turning on your friends is sort of the epitome of being out of control, right? Okay, anyway, moving on. To end the episode, the whole party gets naked and runs through the jungle. Although Aram, as he is contemplating or getting ready to join them,
an odd scent seems to come through the chambers. It's familiar, very faint. And emotions come over you as you recognize a scent you haven't smelled in a long time. It's the faintest scent of Will, his skin. Just their natural scent. It's been a long time and suddenly memories kind of wash over you for a second. Why do you smell that now? Why?
He rolls a perception check and it seems like that scent is coming from the statue of Seratani, and he notices that there are small vines growing out of the sheath that she is carrying. He places his sword inside and all of the vines begin to wrap around it, and as he draws his blade out, there is ivy growing around it and a magical field glowing across it. Ooh, a blessing from the Wild Mother. Very neat. I'm very curious to know what this sword is and what kind of abilities or features it's going to have. I also wonder if this moment is going to be the beginning of an Aram arc, because I have a feeling we're sort of done a little bit with Chetney for the moment. This felt like the sort of end of the werewolf arc for the moment. I'm sure there's going to be lots of other Chetney stuff coming up, especially with his past in Uthadern and those kinds of things. But for now, it feels like we've sort of put a little bit of a full stop there, and we're going to be moving on to a new part of the story. And so I wonder, yeah, if this is sort of foreshadowing that it's going to be Aram's turn in the spotlight, which I'm honestly looking forward to, because Aram seems very clear cut on the outside, a very like sort of simple story or simple character drive, but I know that Liam is probably got a lot of stuff brewing back there, and I'm sure there's going to be bombshells and emotions and torments galore. I also wonder if he is going to be leaning into this Wild Mother connection moving forward. It's the end of the episode and we get some exciting new developments because the party level up. They are now level 8. The user Back to Violet Road on my Discord did a great breakdown of what we can expect to see in the level ups. So I'm just going to pull up the post because it was much better than I could probably do. So Ashton, FCG, Imogen, and Aram all get a choice between an ability score increase and a feat. FCG and Imogen also gain a second 4th level spell slot. FCG's cantrips and weapon attacks deal an additional d8 of radiant damage. If Chetney chooses to take another Blood Hunter level, because of course he may choose to take another Rogue level, but if he does, he'll get a new Crimson Right and the ability Stalker's Prowess, which gives increased movement speed and sort of jumping abilities, and all of his werewolf attacks will be magical. I think Chetney probably will take a Blood Hunter level up. It makes sense in the story. I feel like it would be a little strange to take a Rogue level up after you have just gone through this big werewolf trial. If Fern takes another level in Druid, then she will also get 4th level spell slots, which means that she could cast Polymorph, which would be very fun. I can see her getting up to some real mischief with that, but we'll wait and see, I suppose. If Lorden takes another level in Warlock, then she will get a couple more Warlock spells. I have a feeling she will be taking a level in Sorcerer just because Delilah currently is banished out of her in some way. So I think we might not see another Warlock level until Delilah rears her ugly head again. And of course, there's always the chance that other members could decide to multiclass as well, so we'll just have to wait until next week to find out. Chetney also got a new feat after this episode called Savage Spirit. At this stage, it's not clear what the feat does. Hopefully we'll see it in action soon. And this is the second time that we have seen a character gifted a feat as part of the story, because of course Imogen got a feat after the fight with Odahan. So it makes me wonder if we're going to see these story-driven feats for all of the characters, if all of them are going to get some kind of feat. I think this is a really great way of giving blessings or boons to the characters. So in campaign 1, we saw that all of the characters got very powerful magic items. These are the vestiges. And whilst I think that it is really cool, I actually prefer this method here of giving them a story-based feat, because it just feels, I don't know, I guess I find it more interesting than going on a hunt for MacGuffins, essentially. Do you use feats much in your games? I'm the kind of DM who will always give a free feat at level 1, because I just think feats are awesome. I'm excited. I'm excited to see that feats are going to play a bigger role in 1D&D. But anyway, that's a topic for a whole other video, and I know people have opinions about it. What I really enjoyed a lot about this episode, apart from the very cool combat, was just the level of like relaxed goofing off. I talked in a previous video, I think it was a couple of videos ago, about how I just felt like the pace had been so fast and also so intense and dark. And, you know, of course, like so many bad things have happened. So of course that is going to be the vibe. And it was just nice to have a bit of a breather and a little bit of room for some silliness and some shenanigans. That's kind of what I had been really missing, I think, from campaign 3. I'm sure things are going to get very serious and dark again soon, but I'm enjoying the shenanigans while they're here. And before we finish up, it is time for theory time. So this theory comes from Jack McGeehan. So it says here, I think the liquid poison that is being used to stop healing/resurrecting people is the Frigid Woe. It's mentioned in a small adventure in Explorer's Guide to Wildmount. I'm not sure if you mentioned this already yet or not. So yes, I read Explorer's Guide to Wildmount a long time ago. I really need to revisit again because I had completely forgotten about this. So from the book, I guess spoilers for Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, Frigid Woe is a special disease developed by Aor's mages that cannot be cured by conventional treatment or magic. This disease was created to slow down the forces of the gods and get around the healing power of their clerics and angels. Now, the symptoms are rather different. It's all about sort of getting fatigue and chills and blue veins, and if you are reduced to 0 hit points by this disease, then your body is sort of encased in a block of ice, or it's turned into a statue made of ice. So obviously that's not what we're seeing with these assassins. However, I think the fact that there is this link to Aor, and we know that Aor was messing around with Dunamancy stuff, and we know that Odahan is messing around with Dunamancy stuff, it makes me curious that there could be some connection here between the stuff that was being developed in Aor and the stuff that Odahan was using. It could be a sort of second iteration of this Frigid Woe maybe, or even a third or fourth, that is completely cutting off that ability to tap into the resurrection powers of the gods. I just thought it was a really great shout out, and all we can do is wait and see if it pans out in the future. If you've got any hot theories, let me know in the comments below. I love reading them because, you know, in the hive mind, that is the YouTube comments section, there are some banging theories and ones that I would never even think of. Thank you so much to my patrons and YouTube members for their support. With a special thank you to Yasha, Admiral, Tony, Mark, Gemini, Chad, Rob, Barrenby, and Templar Witch. And of course, thank you to Only Chris for sponsoring this video. Make sure you check out their beautiful dice using the link in the description and the code LUNA at checkout. Until next time, bye!